the webinar. Good morning, everybody. My name is Justyna Pytkowska from Microfinance Center. Welcome to the webinar, Datathon's New Way of Learning from Clients. Today we're going to talk and present one of the results of our project with MasterCard, Center for Inclusive Growth. Let's start from the agenda of today's meeting. 1 second, let's move to the next slide. So I will start with the introduction to the program, and then the first speaker, Mr. Rafał Trepka from MasterCard, will introduce the Datathon, and then we will move to the presentation of Azat Omirbekov from KMF, and he will present how the Datathon was conducted at KMF, and then there will be time for questions to both of the speakers. So let's start with the introduction to the partnership between MFC and MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth. The objective of this partnership is to pivot, adapt, and embrace digitalization. And we are conducting this project through a variety of activities, which concentrate on 4 main objectives or work streams. First of one is the support to microfinance institutions in digitalizing their operations. So we help MFIs to better understand how various systems and solutions work and how to implement them for the benefit of better efficiency and better outreach to their clients. The second group of activities work stream is to support MFIs in educating their clients on how to make their micro enterprises more digital, how to be present in the virtual world, how to benefit from various options, such as, for instance, marketing through social media. The other activities focus on business models of microfinance institutions. We have conducted research and we have developed recommendations on how to adjust the business model for better resilience in the new times, post-pandemic times, and how to make the most of the opportunities that come with digitalization. And finally, we are also working towards improving data analytics of the MFIs and pro bono advisory services which were provided to KMF during the Datathon by volunteers of MasterCard. This is the topic of today's webinar. Let's move to the next slide. The partnership between MFC and MasterCard started in March this year, and we have already conducted many activities with the outcomes and outputs. So one of the work streams focused on delivering webinars on how to digitalize a microfinance institutions, and there were 4 webinars conducted in Russian. You can watch the recordings of those webinars from the resource center on the MFC's website. Later on, I will share the direct links to those webinars in the chat box. We have also organized a conference session during MFC's conference Social Finance Vibe in September. The session Strengthening Clients' Digital Business Skills hosted 3 microfinance institutions which presented their approach, their programs to educate clients how to digitalize their micro businesses. And we have also summarized the experience of MasterCard and KMF in conducting the Datathon in a summary paper, which is available also on our website. The video recording of the session is also available on the website. So you can watch the webinars, the recordings, you can read the paper, and everything all of this is available on our website. And as I mentioned, together with me, there are 2 distinguished speakers together, Rafał Trepka from MasterCard and Azat Omirbekov from KMF. So please let me say a few words about first Rafał. Mr. Rafał Trepka is responsible for the development and growth of MasterCard business, cooperation with partners, banks, and entire payment ecosystem. An important direction of his work is building relationships with government and the development of a cashless economy. Mr. Azat Omirbekov from KMF is the leading specialist from the Department of Financial Analysis and External Reporting, and he's responsible for conducting financial analysis of the company's activities, making financial forecasts of activities results, providing analytical information for subsequent management decisions. So that's the introduction from my side. And now I would like to give floor to Rafał Trepka, who will introduce the MasterCard's approach to data analysis and the Datathon concept. Rafał, the floor is yours.
Great. Hello, everyone. Yes, if you may go to the next slide. So hello, everyone. Firstly, thank you very much for this very warm introduction as well, and already setting up the theme about the Datathon. So as mentioned, I'm responsible here for Kazakhstan and other countries of Central Asia. And if you look at MasterCard overall, because you can also wonder why MasterCard involved in such a programs. So if you look overall, I mean, even if you look from our vision perspective as a world beyond cash, so certainly we do many different programs which are supporting cashless societies and cashless programs. Then also you look from our mission perspective, where we use, let's say, both our technologies, knowledge, the whole know-how, that for everybody of us and also for the businesses, it's much easier, safer, and smoother to pay wherever you are, and so every day at every place in the world that you can easily pay by card or by the different type of the wallets as well. And there I would say the third part, which is also very important, are our values, because then you look at the trust and partnership, also the accountability and really this customer focus. But I would like to underline here certainly the partnership, and here would like to once again thank you very much for the Microfinance Center as well for the cooperation, as well for your very extensive network, and here as well for bringing KMF into the program. And very briefly as well, so before we jump into the Datathon itself, the whole part has been supported by the part of MasterCard, which is called MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth. It's more, let's say, philanthropic hub of MasterCard. Why we say philanthropic? Because it actually leverages and combines different MasterCard assets. So as I mentioned earlier, technology is super important, but it also combines the expertise that takes, let's say, the best out of the brand as well. There are a lot of different capabilities which leverage the whole network of payments as well. different funding for the program. And last but not least, it's a data and data usage, and how do we utilize the data, for example, to secure our transactions as well, so that at the end, let's say, everything runs very smoothly. So the same with all our knowledge about the data from the safety security perspective, and also the view on the payments, how we can support our partners. And later on, you will also hear from the Datathon itself. And also why we are doing that. You see the payment part, it's one part. You see a lot of financial inclusion, financial education programs. So this part we also say like doing well by doing good as well. So that's about MasterCard very briefly as well about the Center for Inclusive Growth. And what we have done with the particularly why the program and why Datathon, as I mentioned, is to leverage our approach to the data, also to partner with let's say local company which is very supportive to small and micro enterprises, because as we know, and let's say we are still with the pandemic, and economies need to recover. So SMEs, micro enterprises, medium enterprises are super important. And in this case, KMF in Kazakhstan actually supports with the financial loans and financial support this type of the businesses. So it's also helped them to grow further. But it was very important to support, it's overall very important to support this type of organization to even better understand, for example, customer management, to better understand how to plan marketing activities, or how to understand the risk profiles as well. And Azad from KMF will tell a bit more in details about the whole program, about the outcomes. So as a Datathon, as per se, I mean, usually the programs between 24 36 hours. Similarly here with the end of September as we run the program. Additionally, we deployed our data scientists, our engineers, people who are responsible for the product from across the markets, because it's also very important that as we are the global company, we could leverage the knowledge and know-how from the different countries. As I said before, focus on the micro and small businesses as they are the catalyst for the future growth. Focus on the 3 key areas related to the customer management, marketing activities, and also the risk based. And all, let's say, as a cornerstone of entire program is a data in this case. So it's also, I think the main also message from this webinar is that whatever you will be doing, however you will be planning for the future, looking at the data, the different propensity models and others is very, very crucial, because you can make much smarter, much safer decisions as well. So without further ado, I would like to once again thank you, Microfinance Center, for the cooperation, also for organizing, and as it was said, for the partnership within the different programs, as well to KMF for participation, for sharing, and also the proactive participation. And as I'm saying, without further ado, once again, thank you very much. Happy to answer questions at the end, and over to KMF to hear more.
Thank you very much, Rafał. Now over to Azad. Let me stop sharing the screen. Azad, now the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. We are very glad to be part of today's webinar. Many thanks to MFC for invitation. Hopefully information provided today will be helpful for everyone. To begin with, let me provide some background information about our company.
Oh, thanks. I'm listening to this call that I wrote the talking points for this guy. Did an okay job.
Over the years, KMF has become one of the leaders in microfinance sector among the post-Soviet countries in the Central Asia region. Today, KMF is the largest microfinance organization in Kazakhstan. The company is focused on building long-term partnerships with clients based on mutual trust, understanding, and respect. KMF provides clients with individual and group microcredits for the following activities: business, field cultivation and animal husbandry, production of goods, service provision, customer credit. KMF is also well recognized worldwide. It is one of the best 15 USAID projects worldwide. KMF is recognized as the best microcredit organization of the year in Kazakhstan. It is among the three best MFIs in the world according to the global portal Mix Market. It was included in the rating of the 50 best MFIs in the world according to the Forbes magazine. The international rating agency Fitch has assigned KMF a B+ rating. KMF is the first company in Kazakhstan to receive an AA- social rating, which demonstrates the company's excellent management of social performance and customer protection system. So before the starting of Datathon, we identified several strategic questions we seek to answer. First one was, how can we improve customer retention? Second, what is the impact of customer interaction campaigns? Third one, how can we improve customer acquisition? And last one, how can we better understand the risk profile of our clients? Datathon analysts tried to answer all these questions based on the data we shared with them using different approaches. All the materials that we will present was provided by MasterCard. So regarding the first question, how can we improve customer retention? A logistic regression model was built to predict the likelihood of customers to take additional loan according to identified characteristics. Basically, the methodology consisted of 3 steps. First one is find churned customers, defined as those who did not make another loan application 30 days after the paid off the principal. Second step was compare churned and retained customers to identify variations in performance between the two groups. And last one was to build propensity model to predict customers' likelihood to churn. However, due to low customer volumes, due to the information that we provided, the model was instead built to predict customers' likelihood to take out more than one loan, which can be used to identify optimal customers to target in the future. Propensity modeling leverages logistic regression to predict yes or no outcomes. It gives customers likelihood or propensity to exhibit a certain behavior. In this case, how likely they are to have taken out more than one loan. Table below shows the list of drivers with highest influence on our outcome. So the customers who are likely to have taken out more than one loan require their first loan for making a purchase or for repairs. And it is not just within the KMF, but any loan in any other financial institution. Second, earn their income through agro or business. Are sole entrepreneurs as opposed to individuals, had greater interaction with KMF in the prior year. So the drivers can differ from company to company and depending on the goals that we try to predict. However, the approach that was proposed by the MasterCard, we found it very effective and helpful to improve our retention strategy. As a result, MasterCard gave us the list of 17,000 clients who are most likely to take out more than one loan, which we shared with our credit department, which can give us additional boost of loan portfolio in the future. And we can use this methodology for any future potential analysis and the predictions. Second question was, what is the impact of customer interaction campaigns? Here, MasterCard used test and learn methodology to isolate campaign impact from other factors, identified segments of clients with the strongest impact of campaign. So before I start, let me give you some background information about our campaigns. KMF ran a series of SMS campaigns in 2020 with the aim of re-engaging with customers who had previously taken loans. More than 135,000 customers were contacted through SMS messages. SMS messages were more than 261,000 clients with offering 5% discount. As these customers were selected based on specific criteria such as not receiving any penalties recently, MasterCard's test and learn software was used to find a group of similar control customers who did not receive the SMSs. After the analysis, MasterCard analysts found out that the January message saw 66% increase in loan applications over what would be expected without the campaign, while those receiving the May messages saw 23% lift. They also helped us to identify that the campaign was more efficient for older generation comparing to the young. Targeting the top 40,000 customers could drive incremental 100 loans per week. If we talk about the methodology in the detail, the test group is identified. It is the ones who received an SMS. Then we have a control group, the ones who did not. Both of them will be well matched in a pre-SMS period, and then after the action taken, we can easily compare the changes in behavior between those two groups. So the difference in behavior will be our impact. Let me provide you a specific example. On this graph, you can see the analysis of the first campaign, which was at the beginning of a year. As you can see, two groups are well matched in the baseline period. And after the SMSs were sent, the test group clearly outperforms control group. And as we previously mentioned, we can see 66% increase in this case of loan applications per week. So the ones who received the SMS well reacted, which means our campaign was successful, and we can continue doing it in the future as well. But as you know, we had like state of emergency. That's why you can see some decline in that period. COVID-19 affected our results. So after the analysis, MasterCard provided some recommendations for us. One of them was like continue to use SMS campaigns to re-engage those who have previously interacted with KMF, because as we can see from the graph, interaction was successful. As there was only one version of message tested, there is an opportunity to test different messages and offers in this channel that may have similar impact at lower cost, or they may have higher impact. MasterCard also recommended beginning to use 10% holdout who meet all eligible criteria but do not receive the SMSs, so we can easily match and analyze these two groups in future. In our case, in the information that we provided, we didn't have this 10% holdout, so MasterCard have done nice work finding the matching group by themselves. But in future, if we have 10% holdout, it will be much easier for us to analyze the efficiency and success of our campaigns. As this like SMSs were mostly impactful for older generation, MasterCard recommended us to use alternative channels for other customer segments, like for young generation, or and we should test them and use other channels such as email, mobile, or online campaigns. Another question that was answered is how can we better understand the risk profile of our clients? Here, MasterCard proposed two methodology. First one is logistic regression, and second one is random forest model. Random forest model was found to be the like slightly better methodology with customer likelihood to default, influenced by characteristics such as age and loan tenor. The process itself involved several key steps. First one is to prepare the data. So we shared 4 files with the information, and the analysts like prepared, collected them. Second step was engineering features like modifying and clearing the data. Third step was train, build, and test different models. After that, they chose the best model, deployed it, and last step was machine learning. So in our case, the last step, like we choose logistic regression and random forest and analyze the data. In the data we shared with the MasterCard, we didn't have like indicator of someone defaulted or not. That's why analysts assumed that the reason for exit column, which was in our data was an accurate indicator if customer has defaulted or not. But this one might differ from like company to company, and it can differ from how you define like defaulters. So as I previously mentioned, there are two popular methods. First one was logistic regression, which is a simple modeling technique which maps the output of a set of linear coefficients through logistic sigmoid function to produce a prediction in the range of 0 or 1, which can typically be interpreted as probability estimate. This model is widely used in many financial institutions and very popular. Second one is random forest, which was a new model for us, and it had like slightly better accuracy. The random forest is a classification algorithm consisting of many decision trees. It uses bagging and feature randomness when building each individual tree. Try to create uncorrelated forest of trees whose prediction by committee is more accurate than any other individual tree. On this slide, you can see results of both models. Small tables with the numbers can be interpreted using the big table below. So as you can see, random forest did slightly better job in predicting the outcomes, and it has accuracy of 93%, which is 23% higher than the logistic regression model. Feature importance is model dependent, as each model has different set of columns that impacted the prediction. So as you can see, random forest predicts 93% of the time the correct outcome, and only 7% of the time it can be false negative. In the case of logistic regression, 70% of the time it's correct, and the rest it can be like false negative. This model, random forest model, will be very helpful tool for our risk department, and in future we plan to share all the calculations and information provided by MasterCard with our risk department, deploy this model and probably use it for future models, scoring models, and for online distribution of credits and loans. So to sum up, Datathon results showed how insightful and actionable the transaction and demographic data proved to be, as well as how data-driven insights can be used to strengthen the quality of microfinance institution services. KMF now has a more rigorous analytical approach with advanced models to assist in outreach and loan origination, and newly developed test and learn mentality that will enable more insight and action in the future. And also, I would like to add that we are very thankful for MasterCard for making such a great job and sharing all these insights with us. They provided for us a lot more, but for the today's presentation and like considering timeframes, we just talked about findings and recommendations that we think will be potentially most useful for us in the future. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning. My name is Jitendra. I'm speaking from New Delhi, India. I have a quick question. Could you please, speak a little bit more on the? Am I audible? Hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you please explain a little bit more about the random forest model and the logistic model, which kind of predicted the faults? And will you be sharing a copy of this presentation with participants? That's my question.
The copy of the presentation, I think, will be shared by Justina. Yes. And
thank you.
Okay.
And this logical regression and random forest model, yeah.
So as I said before, all the information was provided by the MasterCard analysts, and here I'm showing you results. And as I've mentioned, from the results that we received, we see that random forest is more efficient than the logistic regression, because the logic behind it is that it uses randomness when building each tree, and each tree is built random, and it's independent from another tree. That's why mutually they give you better predictive results comparing to simple logistic regression.
And if I may ask, what was the sample size which you used for this experiment?
So we shared 4 files which contain that information about personal information of clients, collection information, interactions with the client, and loan applications for the last 3 years.
Okay, and what was the number of customers?
Number of customers, I believe it's like close to 200,000.
Oh, 200,000 is a good sample size. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Other question from my side, if I may. So as let's say it's probably a bit more than a month since, let's say, all concluded, shared, etc. Anything you've already started to utilize? Anything what you see?
Yeah, to be honest, we haven't adapted any of the finding yet. We started partially use propensity to take out more than one loan model in order to reach clients. But as I mentioned in my presentation, random forest is something that we're planning to share. And SMS campaigns, as soon as we will start a new one, I believe that we will also try to use this methodology for the analysis of the success of the campaign.
Thanks for that.
1 month is was a very short time period for us.
Oh, good that you've engaged and good that you've shared. I see Andrew has right hand, so Andrew, go ahead.
Hello. Yes, thank you for a very interesting presentation. I'm just wondering if you can provide a little bit more detail or comment on question 3 on the risk profile of clients, of which indicators, what sort of indicators were found to be the most predictive or the most strongest of predicting the outcome?
Okay. Okay, so here to identify defaulters, we used, I mean, not we, MasterCard used the reason for exit column. So if a person's debt was written off, or he exited due to arrears, they were identified as defaulters. That was the first step. Then 2 models had different most important features. Logistic regression, I believe, had arrears, yes, past due days as a best indicator. Then it also included loan age loan tenor, loan age, and things like that as the best predictors of someone defaulted or not. Did I answer your question?
Well, I mean, the arrears, you know, if a loan goes
yes,
into
it's obvious, but
that's already too late. What I'm talking about is which indicators in the loan application, in the client characteristics, what were the indicators that were found to be most predictive of the likelihood of the client going to default? So you identified loan tenor, i.e., the longer the loan is, the more likelihood of a default or arrears. But you know, that's also understandable because, you know, generally, you know, if you give a loan for 2 years, there are, you know, it's 2 years during which problems can develop. But other than that, what were the indicators? I mean, you know,
there were also like region specific. I don't know if it provides you like information, but region specific, depending on the branches. I think there was one branch where we had like a lot of defaulters, and it had like higher effect comparing to others. So the region itself also was one of the indicators if someone will default or not, as well as check. So there is loan age, arrear, like we said, it's a bit too late, right? And then there goes the region. And there's also a source of income, target use. I mean, consumer for loans for consumer purposes were also more likable to default. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I believe we probably lost Azad, and that's probably the case. Justyna, you lead the agenda. So, but colleagues, any other questions or comments or ideas for the future? Justyna, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good. So there is one more question, and as soon as Azad reappears, I will ask him the question. The question is, Azad. There's another question. This time it's from Daniel Rosas, and the question is, can you hear me, Azad? Because the camera is freezing, so I'm not sure about the connection. So let's wait until I get the confirmation from Azad that he can hear us. And in the meantime, I'm going to share with you the links to the outputs of the project. Azad, can you hear us?
Yes.
Good. Okay, there's another question, and the question is in the chat box, and the question is, if I understood correctly, the data you used in the analysis included both KMF and non-KMF clients. Were the non-KMF clients sourced from the credit bureau or from MasterCard's own data? Azad? Can you hear us, Azat? I think we have lost Azat again.
Christina, hello. It was from Credit Bureau.
Aha, okay, thank you, Asel, for answering the questions. It was from the Credit Bureau. That's the answer. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, so we have lost Azat again, but if there are no additional questions, then let's move to the closing of the new webinar. Thank you very much for staying with us, for watching the webinar and the presentations. And I have shared with you the links to the recordings and also to the paper, summary paper of the Datathon experience. And I'm also going to send to all the participants the presentations from this webinar. So I will do it right after the end of the session. So thank you again and have a good day.
Thank you once again. Thank you for your time
everyone.
and partnership.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.